Hey witches, so if you couldn't tell already on this channel, we've been in a very spring cleaning, decluttering sort of mood, and with spring cleaning comes learning how to dispose of your spells. In today's classroom of a witch's guide to the real world, actually I really like that. That's super cute. I'm gonna work on it. We are going to learn how to dispose of our spells. Let's get into it. First things first, if you have a spell that has to do with food and you live in a woods or you live in a forest or you live somewhere along where there's wild animal, I think it is very safe to say that you could just go ahead and take your spell and chuck that shit in the woods. I do that with my leftover food. Well, it depends on what kind of leftover, but like banana peels and cores of apples and nuts and pistachio clippings. So I like to apply the same method as that to witchcraft. Let's say you casted a spell with your tea leaves and for some reason you feel like these tea leaves, you don't want to throw them in the garbage. And you're really sitting here thinking like, man, I wish I had something better to purpose this for. Open your tea leaf bag and dry out your tea leaves so they become more of a dried herb consistency, and then you can go ahead and use that in a future spell or a spell jar, or put it in a bowl in your altar, sprinkle it upon your money jar, refresh all of your different spells with these things. And we could do a whole other video on refreshing spells because I actually have a few spells that I would like to refresh myself, and I think that we should do them together because it's important to learn from one another. I say that that's safe to go ahead and sprinkle in the woods. Maybe some squirrels or some birds will find solace in eating dry tea leaves. Otherwise, they'll just shrivel up and disintegrate like most things in the woods do anyway. Or if you live by a sea, I guess you can throw them in the sea. Again, let's talk about it in the comments. This though, I think I have to get rid of this because it's been, yeah, I have to throw this away. So this is a spell actually that I'm throwing away, so I'm gonna say thank you to it. You did me good for a little bit, but I think it got a little, I don't want to say corroded, but it hasn't been spraying very well, and the whole point of it is to be sprayed, so it's just kind of taking up space now. So thank you, and we're gonna actually just dump this goodbye. Like this I have no problem getting rid of, but this, for some reason, I feel really bad throwing away. I guess because there's nothing wrong with it. This, it didn't stop working, like it works, but the sprayer's just really messed up. Now, one spell in particular that I am very eager to kind of toss away today is this right here. And it makes me feel so sad and not that happy to throw it away, because I worked so hard on this throughout the winter time and during Yule. This was my Yule wreath, and I was so proud of it, and it has my little bells on it, and it was just the most exciting project, and I really enjoyed it. But again, as you guys have probably noticed of recent videos, if you're subscribed, if you're not subscribed, definitely make sure that you are subscribed. I've been spring cleaning, and that means that the winter spells and the things that have served me last season are technically not serving me right now. And I think that's okay. I think that it's really important to know that you don't have to hoard things just because you did them and you were happy about them during that time. And even if you're happy with them right now, like this is so cute and it brings me joy and I think it's amazing. But the sun is shining and I don't want to think about the winter anymore. I'm over the winter. I don't want to think about Christmas. I don't even want to think about any holiday. I just want to thrive under the sun in a long dress that I'm currently wearing right now under my little windbreaker and just run around in the woods. An ode to the winters past, to spells past. You guys have a spell. It doesn't have to look like this. It doesn't have to be even physical. It could just be like a note or a journal entry or a piece of paper that you just want to clear out of your mind. Just go ahead and grab that thing. Now this is coming from my brain. I didn't look up like a previous spell disposal. I just kind of am doing what my heart is provoking me to do. And it's just holding on to the damn thing and just kind of like letting it take shape in a different way, man. And I think it's really sweet if, ooh, see, little bell chime came off. I would like to open my note and just like redissect what was on this wreath. I believe this was like a protection sort of wreath that I had here. Yeah. And let's read it together before we dispose fully of this spell. It says, guard our home, bell on the door, Let evil spirits come no more. Evil spells shall not be cast, and good fortune shall ever last. So mote it be. So cute, so lovely. I can't remember if I stole this from Pinterest or if I wrote it or if I half plagiarized it and then half used my own words, because I do that a lot in spells. If a spell isn't specifically speaking to me, I will take certain things from it, like keywords, and I'll just poetry it up and make it just a little bit better in my own way. So this is awesome, and I of course want to guard evil spirits from my home, but this felt very wintry to me. So maybe we can do a spring guarding evil spirit spell, and I think that that's really cool. So please let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a video like that where we kind of recreate some sort of witch's bell or a witch's wreath. I currently have witch's bells on my door that will absolutely guard evil spirits, and just because I don't have the poem anymore tied to the wreath does not mean that this is gonna just get taken away. It's not going to get taken away because we crafted it, and this is just, it's here, it exists. It does not need to be tangible. So don't sit here and think, I'm scared to dispose of my spells because what if they backfire? That's not a thing. That's not gonna happen. You already did it. It's already done. You just so happen to want to do an arts and crafts project while you were doing that too. And that's okay. Sometimes I don't want to do arts and crafts project. I just write in my book. My book looks like this. My book also looks like that. I have so many things, so many trinkets, so many guardians of the galaxy in my bedroom and in my home that I'm sure you guys do too. So what we're gonna do now is just take the remnants and put it inside of the paper. And as we're doing this, of course, we are going into this thinking our spell is still here, our spell is still working. We are just conjuring up the energy to declutter and not have things lurking. And we're gonna say thank you so much for casting yourself over me and keeping me safe throughout the winter. I am so eager to get into spring, move on to a new season, see some light and love and happiness and joy, new beginnings, new opportunities, and all around good vibes. Yes. And I'm actually going to take this and throw it in the regular garbage. Now, if you have a spell jar that you want to dispose of, something along the lines of this, I do not want to dispose of this. I love my little spell jars. I will continuously collect spell jars till the end of time. But what you guys can do, have a spell jar that you want to dispose of, or let's say you have a spell jar that you want to repurpose or respell. The disposal aspect of this is also about upcycling and reconstructing a spell that may not have worked or doesn't serve you anymore. You can open, like pop the seal on whatever wax or whatever you melted on here, so you could reopen the jar, dump out all of the ingredients into like mortar and pestle, crush them up, run amok, do what you must with them, put more herbs in, cast an energizing spell, cast a motivation spell, take all those herbs and do what I said in the beginning of this video. Throw them in the woods. Take the herbs and throw them in the garbage, say thank you. If they're something that could like go down the sink, go ahead, dump it down the sink, because that's it. This has a little bell in it, so obviously it wouldn't go down the sink, but if you want to repurpose the jar, just open it, take out the remnants, do what you would as if you had leftovers in your fridge. If you don't want the jar, or you've sealed the jar way too close, way too shut, too much, you want to completely start over from scratch. Take your jar, put it inside of a mortar and pestle, crush that bad boy up. Glass and all, metal and all. Might be a little crazy, might be a little hectic, it might be a little scary the first time you do something like that, but there are plenty of people who have done it before. Think about making guacamole. Through and through, you want to get rid of your jar and you do not want to repurpose it. You don't want the jar, you don't want to crush it, you don't want to whatever. Just do what I did, like I did with my wreath. Take it, say thank you, I love you, you were the best. Thank you for protecting me, thank you for guarding me, thanks for being with me through the winter or this past year or whenever you decided to make whatever you did, or if someone gifted you something, you could just go ahead and throw it in the garbage. Most, I think, sustainable way, you can go ahead and just gift it to them. And what they do with it is up to their discretion if they decide to throw it away, if they decide to actually make an altar space, or keep it in their pocket, or keep it in their purse, or keep it in their car because they think it's cool, because they want to like hang it up and let it dangle on the rearview mirror. There are plenty of things that you could do with spells, and I just want to give you guys just an entire run around. We are also actually, I think, gonna get rid of today too. We're getting rid of her. This was a beautiful spell that I did about a week ago. It was a sweetness orange spell. If you missed that video, it is in my description and on my channel if you want to watch it. We have to get rid of it because it's actually doing a really good job at holding up, but might be getting a little moldy. And when I say might, I mean it definitely is getting a little moldy. But it's cut open, it has herbs, it was an old orange, that's all right. Back to the drawing board. And one more time, guys, all together, we are going to talk about what we can do to dispose of this specific spell. Luckily for me, I did some quick thinking when I was creating this spell, putting the orange on something that is disposable. In a very witchy way, we are going to just take all 4 corners of this paper, which is really ironic because the last spell we disposed of also had paper similar to this, and we're just gonna fold it so it becomes like a little diamond, and then we're gonna fold it again. And as I'm folding this, I'm just thinking about sealing it and making sure my spell still stays in the moment and stays up in the air and does all the goodness that I wanted it to do when I first initially casted it. It's all juiced up on the bottom. It's definitely gotta go. What we're just thinking about right now while we have this folded up is the intent continuing. We're not taking the intent and throwing it away. We're taking the intent, sealed it up. We're so happy that it still exists in the universe somewhere. We're gonna wash our little trinket bowl because we get to have a new beginning and a new spell, and we get to use this trinket bowl for whatever else that we want. This is going straight in the garbage. It's going to get tied up. It's gonna go outside, but the spell is still going to linger. Now, there are still plenty of other things that you can do if you want to dispose of a spell, which also include burying your spell. Typically, you would like this thing to be biodegradable. Some other ways that you can go about this too, and I want to kind of open that discussion to you guys in the comments. What do you do? What have you learned to do? What would you not do? Also, please let me know how you upcycle them and what's the coolest thing you've ever upcycled. This also does not have to be spell related. It could be like fashion related. But I really want all of us to be friends and have like a fun virtual little coven to call home and to just be cozy in. So I will see you guys in my next video. I hope this helped you at least a little bit.